IG, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. What's going on? Y'all already know the drill. Drop your name, drop your business name, what city you chiming in from. If you was on my live yesterday, y'all already know we bringing some heat today. Today we talking about, is your ego blocking your blessings? Is your ego blocking your blessings? What up, Ramon? Is your ego the cause of you blocking your blessings? See, I know we're in a season right now, and you guys forgive me, I'm looking at like 3 different screens. I got TikTok, I got Instagram, I got Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. But today we're going to talk real quickly before I hit to the gym. This week I told myself I was going to do 2-a-days. Went to the gym this morning, didn't get to hit the sauna, so I have to go back just so I can get an extra cardio session in and hit the sauna. But before I do that, we're going to talk about, is your ego blocking your blessings? Body Contour and Spa from Pensacola, Florida. That sounds like somewhere I need to pop into when I come to Florida. Definitely could always use a good spa treatment. I need y'all to share this live. If you share this with at least 3 people, please type done in the chat for me. If you would like me to continuously drop these type of lives, if you would like me to continuously drop this type of information, I need you to share this with at least 3 people and type done for me. You say 2-a-days. Repeat that for my brother sitting here. Living proof. Yes. This week I'm doing 2-a-days in the gym where I go at least twice a day. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get to do my cardio this morning. I did all weight training and I didn't get to hit the sauna. So I got to go back so I can get a little bit more cardio and get my sauna session in. So I'm not going to hold you long today. We got Tampa in the house. I need y'all to share this with at least 3 people. Is your ego blocking your blessings? Now, when I talk about your blessings, I know a lot of the times people think about, we got Vancouver, what's going on? I may actually be out in Canada in July for UFC. So I probably will be in Vancouver in July for UFC. So when I talk about that, because I speak with so many people across the country, and here's one of the things that I often notice. There's parallel with a lot of people and how they run their business or their persona in their business is sometimes their persona in their personal life. And with that being said, one of the things that I've learned along my journey is that most people lead with ego. Let me say that again. Most people lead with the ego. And here's what I mean. Before I get into that, let me explain who I am. For those who may or may not know me, my name is Will Roundtree, your 2-time author of the books Credit is King. Shout out to Chris, who bought 6 copies of both books actually. And he actually wants to give away 4 copies of Credit is King, as well as 4 copies of Full-Time CEO. And so I'm going to be coming up with a way to do this giveaway. And so here's what I'm going to do. Anyone who goes and clicks the link in my bio and joins my mailing list, the first 4 people that do that, the first 8 people, that go and click the link in my bio and join my mailing list, you will get a free copy of either Credit is King or Full-Time CEO. So if you join my mailing list, take a screenshot of it and send it to me in a DM, and you'll get a free copy of the book sponsored by my good friend Chris Gibson, who bought 6 copies of each. And we're doing a giveaway. If you have not picked up my book, Credit is King, this is one of the top credit books out there in the country. Due to the success of this book, I recently just got tapped by an up-and-coming author who is about to drop a phenomenal book in the credit space, who they actually reached out to me to do the forward of that book. So I'm extremely honored. I'm extremely humbled, and I cannot wait. So make sure you go and pick up this book, Credit is King. I've literally had people, somebody put in a chat the other day, just go and read the comments under the post where I posted this yesterday, where people have literally mentioned they went from a 400 credit score to a 700 plus just by reading this book. So all of these credit hacks on the internet, I've been giving y'all this information away. You know what I'm saying? And so make sure you go and pick up this book, Credit is King. We have sold literally over 50,000 copies since 2016. It may not sound like a lot, but from a black male from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who was told by the age of 21 he would be dead or in jail, do 50,000 times $20 and let me know if that's not a lot. And keep in mind, this book literally sells every single month. That's called residual income. This is a part of my legacy building journey. And I've been telling people for a long time, your business card should be a book. You can buy it from Amazon.com. Your business card should be a book. See, people throw business cards away. I was in an airport about 3 years ago and I ran into Jerry Stackhouse. And I gave him a copy of this book while I was at the airport. For those who don't know, Jerry Stackhouse used to play in the NBA. I think he's actually a coach for a college right now. And he's good friends with another friend of mine, Catino Mobley, who also played in the NBA. And come to find out, Jerry Stackhouse still has his book. So if you do not have a book, I highly recommend you find a publisher and write about what you already know about. You don't have to change the wheel. And I'm actually going to talk about some of the top reasons people fail. And a lot of it has to do with their ego. So if you have not picked up this book, go pick up this book. Secondly, Full-Time CEO, the shit they don't tell you. If you have not picked up this book, I highly recommend that you do so. This book is a culmination of just my journey along with some strategy and concepts that will help you to grow as an entrepreneur. See, one of the things that most people don't know is that they get on this internet and they're caught up in the lifestyle that entrepreneurs are selling to you guys. See, most people are buying people's programs or products or going to their workshops because of the lifestyle. Let me tell you guys something, and I mean this in the most respectful way. What can, any celebrity really teach you about wealth building? Their paycheck came from putting out albums. Their paycheck came from Lucian Grain. I think that's how you pronounce it. These labels, they came from Interscope Records. It came from CAA talent agency. They're not out there getting it in the mud like we are. They're not out there building from scratch. And I'm not saying that it's anything wrong with that, but I would want to learn from people who've actually been through the field in an industry that is relatable to me. See, I can't sing worth anything. I don't know how to rap. I was decent at basketball. I didn't play a sport, but I can learn how to start a business and grow it. I can learn how to change my mindset and learn how to leverage credit to buy a business that's already making money. And so if you would like to learn those skill sets, that's why you want to tap into individuals who are putting the information in books. This is why one of the most successful books of all time, and there's many, are books like Think and Grow Rich. These are books that live on forever because they put information in there that withstands the time. They put information in these books that are certified concepts that have changed people's lives forever. And so that's what I decided to do. And if you actually go to Amazon right now, you will see this book has a 5-star rating. If this book was trash, or if either one of these books was trash, based on not only the number of reviews I have, but also where the books actually rank, this will tell you that these are 2 certified books. I'm not going to say I'm a New York best time seller because I don't have those plaques on my wall, but I can tell you I've sold a lot of units of these books, which means that it definitely has some value in there. And so I want to talk a little bit about, is your ego the reason you're not progressing in life? And here's what I mean. See, unfortunately, a lot of people, when you meet someone, you meet their ego first. You don't meet them. And I'll give you an example. You guys ever been somewhere and the first question somebody asks, oh, what do you do for a living? See, the reason people ask you that is because they want to size you up on how they're going to treat you. That's an ego thing. When you're going out on a date and you meet a guy who wants to talk all about himself because he's trying to impress you with the little bit of money he has, or the lot of, or however much money he has, that's their ego. When you meet a young lady who's talking about, I got this, that, and the third, and trying to impress you, that's their ego. See, when people ask me what I do for a living, I say I change lives. And it messes them up because now they can know I pierce their ego because I'm not trying to have a dual sword battle with them on who's in the best profession or who makes the most amount of money or who drives the best car. I change lives for a living. That's what I do. They're not expecting a response like that, and it throws them off. But people normally lead with ego. And so when you lead with ego, you begin to become a circumstance of what you identified yourself or who you want the world to portray you as. And unfortunately, this is why a lot of the times people fail, or they have a hard time advancing, trying to get to those next levels, because they've created a lifestyle that has to match the ego that they've put before everyone. Let me give you an example. See, when let's say whatever your salary is, let's say you make $50,000-$60,000 a year. Okay. Your whole goal, most people's entire goal, let me not use the word goal. One of people's assignments in life is showing people that they are doing good in life, because nobody wants to go through life portraying as if they have failed. This is why people only show you their highlight reels on social media. It was once said that if you meet someone who's trying to give you their best up front, that's all they have to offer. Meaning, if I have to lead with money, I have nothing else to offer. I lack substance. If I'm trying to lead with showing you my cars and the trips I take and all of the trappings of life, I have nothing else to offer you. So most people lead with ego. And so when you have someone who's making a quote unquote salary that people deem as good, because if you ask 10 people what is considered good money, you would be surprised that most people will say anywhere between 60 to 100,000. It's like people can't even fathom past $100,000 in revenue. And notice I say revenue, not income. It's completely different. People can't even fathom. People will say, good money. Oh, I want to make 100,000. People stop there. And so when you're making 100,000 or 60,000 or 75,000 or 80,000, you're in that class where I say it's probably the most dangerous salary to make, because because amongst your peers, you've made it. And so now you have to lead with, I make six figures. I make 80,000. And then you got to drive an $80,000 car. You got to live in a community that says you make $80,000. You got to carry a handbag that says you make $80,000. You wearing clothes that say you make $80,000. I understand I changed lives is real, but they start calling me scam likely. So disappointing for me. Then it's some type of energy you're giving off that makes people say that about you. I talked about energy yesterday. See, people use this term energy and they don't even really know what that means. We'll get into that on another live. Y'all got to stay tuned in. Make sure y'all keep y'all notifications on. All right. They wear stuff to show they're making 200K. Absolutely. But here's the downfall of that. Hey, brother, keep going. I educate on money. Ryan, IUL. Absolutely, man. Appreciate that. But here's the downfall of that. The downfall of that is that because you've created a lifestyle to let people know that your ego makes this 80,000, that your ego makes this 100,000. Now you get stuck because you have what's called a poverty mindset that you learn from you learned from your family. Let me just put it out there like that. So now, because you are operating at a place of disadvantage, anything that looks like a real opportunity that has to do with finances, you assume it's a scam. Although you've bought into a lifestyle that you've been scammed to thinking that you have to become your ego. What's left after spending all the money to look like you make 100K? Absolutely, 850 Floyd. It's nothing left. So now you've become your ego. And so now what happens is people come to forums like this and they lack what's called a teachability index. See, your teachability index is how teachable are you? But here's where I'm going to mess a lot of people up. See, most people are not teachable when they think that they've made it. But most people are impressionable. Somebody type that in the chat. Most people are not coachable, but they're impressionable. And here's what I mean by that. See, unfortunately, a lot of people are not coachable because their ego has taken over on what they want the world to see about them. But that person is impressionable, which is why people buy into these gurus, whether they're online or in person, because they've shown you a lifestyle that you assume that you're going to attain at whatever your ego has allowed you to get to. And this is why I say I don't buy into celebrity-based infomercials, because those celebrities are not going to show you, or they can't show you how to amass the type of wealth they amassed. They are utilizing their lifestyle to inspire you to buy their liquors, to join their discords, to purchase their albums, to come to their concerts. And it's nothing wrong with that. I'm not hating, respectfully. But what do you gain out of that except that you're impressed with the lifestyle that they've amassed by somebody else cutting their check? It's amazing me that y'all talking Mr. Roundtree for. Again, no disrespect to the celebrities and entertainers, but it's nothing that they've done. Nothing that they've done is attainable for you to obtain what they have. The Los Angeles Lakers cut their checks. The Las Vegas Raiders cut their checks. Live Nation cut their checks. They're buying real estate with money from their album sales that you're paying for. They're buying businesses with the concert tickets that you're paying for. But meanwhile, we're not being coachable to people who's actually giving you real legitimate blueprints to get to your next level, because your teachability index is very low, but you're an impressionable individual because you're chasing a lifestyle, which is your ego. Your ego has to be fed. Your ego has to be fed. What is your question? What is your question? Can you answer my question? I normally charge to answer people questions. You're very aggressive in this in this live. So I often ask people, do you have failure habits? Do you have failure habits? And typically when you are uncoachable, that's a failure habit. When you are impressionable, when you're impressionable to people who are only using things to impress you, that's a failure habit. See, I was writing down some notes and I wrote, do you have fear of trying to be successful in failing? Do you have fear of trying to be successful in failing? See, there's this thing called go over that. And yes, removing a bankruptcy is possible. Yes, if you go and watch my video on YouTube about bankruptcy, I break this down. Okay. So there's something called be, do, have. Do, have, HAVE. See, the part that most people skip is the do. The part that most people skip is the do. Are you doing the right things long enough? Let me say that again. Are you doing the right things long enough? See, unfortunately, a lot of people jump into something, and because they didn't stick with it long enough, they will never become who they need to become to have what it is that they want to have. But that same person will work 40 years and never amass what they want to have. But they will jump into something for 4 days. They will jump into something for 4 weeks and never get to that to the point of where they are trying to amass. Are you doing the right things long enough? And most people, it's no. Most people don't have what's called the emotional intelligence to stick with it long enough. And unfortunately, most people don't know or know how to condition their level of emotional intelligence because nobody really tells you what emotional intelligence is. We just hear the terms. All of these terms that we use, and I guarantee you 90+% of people don't even really know what they're saying. It just sounds trendy. Just like getting business credit. It sounds trendy. But very few people utilize it properly. Because if you utilized it properly, you would have the emotional intelligence to know that the way that wealthy people have amassed their wealth is through leveraging debt. And like I mentioned yesterday, wealthy people will brag about how much debt they have. Unwealthy people brag about how much their job pays them. But that job pays you an income that is taxed to the point to where the money that's left over, you try to create this fictitious lifestyle and then you can't afford to invest. Meanwhile, wealthy people leverage debt to create cash flow and then live off the cash flow and then borrow against the asset that they use from the debt tax-free. Completely different mindset. So if you're not coachable enough, you're not doing the right things long enough, how will you even know how to leverage structured debt? Living in Las Vegas, do you ever gamble? If I go, I'll put in like $20, but I'm not a gambler. I like my odds better betting on me, not in a casino. Especially when I know that Vegas was built off of the backs of losers. Why would I put my odds into something where I have a high success rate of losing? But then those same people who love to gamble will not put their monies into something that has a high success rate of succeeding. And that's through understanding basic economics, which is why a lot of entrepreneurs fail, because a lot of entrepreneurs fail to understand the basics of economics. And when we think about a recession, most of us who are minorities have been in a recession since we've been 18 years old because we haven't mastered the basics of economics. And when you break down every single recession that we've ever had, whether it's from the Great Depression of 29, whether it's from the housing crisis recession of '08 into the recession now, the term that's always been thrown around is that a recession is a transfer of wealth. And if you don't understand the basic elements of economics, this is why wealth never gets passed within our communities, because we're too busy bragging about the $75,000 that the company is paying you. And it's not a salary. That $75,000 that they give you is a tax write-off for them. Some of y'all will learn that when you get a real tax professional. The money your job pays you is the money that they write off on their taxes. So if you think about it, your salary is like when I started to learn these concepts, it made me sick and it made me upset. And I said, you know what? I have to learn the basic economics so that I can learn how to find the gaps during the wealth transfers. But because people's teachability index is very low and people are impressionable by whoever it is on TV that's wearing the chain and got the car and in the country that they've been dreaming about going, they buy into what's impressionable as opposed to having a teachability index of being coachable. Donating to a charity. Did you know that any donation you make, that charity can keep up to 80%? Go look at the salaries of some of these individuals at Red Cross and the Goodwill. The Goodwill is very profitable. Let me tell you that. Some of your favorite nonprofits make more than your for-profit businesses. You might learn a thing or two. Been through 4 rounds of disputes for that one account. Why are my late payments so hard to remove off my credit report? Late payments have the lowest success rate, especially if they're tied to open accounts. And despite what you're hearing on the internet where they say late payments are illegal, y'all better stop listening to these people. If they have proof that you've been late, you've been late. What if you are truly an honest money generator? For example, I'm the head of both sides of my family. I create straightforward game plans. What examples can you provide? I don't know your entire situation. That's a very vague question. What economic learning resources do you recommend? That's a good question. So the economic learning system that I learned is you have to start reading books on economics. You have to start tying yourself to people who are teaching economics. See, I come on here and I don't talk about the top credit cards to get and how to get airline points because I'm trying to teach you guys economics. I've been teaching you guys about filing your taxes properly. I've been teaching you about making sure that your entity is structured properly, not just getting an LLC. I've been telling people to understand the power of credit, not just getting a good credit score. I've been talking to people about structured debt. I've been teaching people about how to build their credit to be able to use creative financing to invest in assets. These are all basic economic lessons. But are you willing to do the things long enough? And do you have a teachability index that allows you to be coachable to learn these things? And yes, it may cost you something. Is that 24-hour hard inquiry hack real? It is, but that strategy is dead, which is why you don't see a lot of new YouTube videos about it. If you go and look at my post, I just posted up how we helped a client get 100 credit inquiries moved. We're one of the few companies that dispute open and closed inquiries. But that calling in 24-hour hack, that's pretty much dead. Because everybody and their mama was selling it. I seen 10-year-olds making funnels selling 24-hour credit inquiry hacks. So true about Goodwill. They opening up stores everywhere. Yeah, the Goodwill is still opening up stores in this recession. Because people hear nonprofit and they think they think they're struggling. No, they're not. See, wealthy people's mindset is completely different. They don't work for money. Let me say that again. Wealthy people don't work for money. This is why I said again, wealthy people brag about how much debt they have. Unwealthy people brag about how much their job paid them. And think about where you are right now financially. How long would it take you to save $5,000? How long would it take you to save $10,000? If an apartment building fell in your lap today and you had to come up with $75,000 to take down this apartment building that is cash flowing positively, that has good equity in there, and it's a turnkey scenario, could you even do it? Most people, they can't. But when you overstand and have a wealthy mindset, and I'm not saying wealth means you have a bunch of money in the bank and you have a bunch of money saved up, because wealthy people don't save money. Let me say that again. Wealthy people don't save money. And that's because they overstand and they've learned that the bank makes more money off of their money in their bank than you make off of your money in their bank. So what do? They leverage debt. They leverage debt to go buy those paintings. They leverage debt to buy their jewelry that appreciates in value. They leverage debt to buy businesses. They leverage debt to buy real estate. I would like to buy you coffee and bring my journal. I don't drink coffee, King. You can buy a strategy call. Respectfully. See, we have to stop thinking that somebody wants, like, we have to stop asking that old adage, hey, can I pick your brain? Because here's what I've learned. 99.9% of the people that I've sat down with who ask to pick my brain, when I show them what my calendar looks like, when I show them what I have to do on a daily basis, when I show them how many no's you have to get, when I show them that you have to be willing to sacrifice birthday parties, happy hours, Cinco de Mayo. Yeah, y'all didn't think I would catch that. Lovers and friends concerts. Are you willing to sacrifice that? Are you willing to sell your sneaker collection to pay for somebody's coaching program? Are you willing to fix your credit? Are you willing to continuously invest in something that doesn't give you a necessary net return on investment immediately? And for most people, it's no. So why would I let somebody pick my brain who isn't willing to make the high level amount of sacrifices going to take to get to the level they claim they want to be at? Because I tell people, if you're trying to make 7 figures a year, it's going to cost you hundreds of thousands over a course of time to get to that 7 figures. So no, I don't let people pick my brain for free. You have to pay for these gems. Because I did. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars every single year. Most people aren't willing to do what it takes. So when people ask to pick my brain, I almost get offended because I know that the average person isn't willing to work to get to where they say they want to do. Especially when you can come on forums like this and I can give you the baby steps to position yourself, to get in position to be able to afford to pick somebody's brain. If you haven't bought my book, why would I let somebody pick my brain? If you haven't been to one of my workshops, why would I let somebody pick my brain? When the person hasn't even done the foundational work to get in position. And no disrespect to you necessarily, King, because when you get in position, I want you to have the same type of attitude. See, there's a saying that you're paid in direct reflection of your value in the marketplace. So when people want to become more valuable, when people want to make more money, you become more valuable. I was surprised when I found out how much money the president earns from some of these nonprofits. They fooled me. Yeah, they living better than these for-profit organizations. And so we have to know this type of stuff and learn to create value in our socioeconomic ladder. Because whether you want to agree or not, everybody is a capitalist. Everybody's a capitalist. If you took money from the PPP and you don't have a real business, you're a capitalist. All right, let me go over these 10 reasons why people fail real quick. If this is making sense, type the number 1 in the chat. If this is making sense, type the number 1 in the chat. One second, y'all. If this is making sense, type the number 1 in the chat. Can you check your DM after this live? Absolutely, I got you. Thank you. Is your ego stopping you from becoming who you want to become? See, number 1, people lack people skills. People lack people skills. If you don't know how to deal and work with people, it's going to be impossible to get to the levels that you want to get to. Because the only way you can get to and amass the levels you want to get to, you have to deal with people. So for example, if you want to be a successful real estate investor, you have to learn how to deal with clients, with vendors, with realtors, with title company agents, with wholesalers, with bank lenders. And if you get mad when somebody tells you no, if you lack emotional intelligence, if you don't know how to handle conflict, it's very difficult for you to be able to advance. Let me put this into real life. I was having a discussion with someone, and we were just talking about like how on every other social media platform, you hear people talking about gender wars. You know, who should be doing what? The man should do this, the woman should do this, people arguing, bickering, etc., etc., etc. And I often talk about, and this is what I tell people. I remember we were having this dialogue and I said, look, the easiest way to learn about somebody quickly up front is to take a trip with them. Take a trip with them. Go out of town with whoever it is that, go ahead. Go out of town with whoever it is you're trying to date. You really want to know someone? Go out of town with them. You're going to get to see how they live. You're going to see their hygiene. You're going to see how they actually react and interact with people who they don't know. You're going to see how they handle their liquor. You're going to see if they flirt with other people while you're not around. And more importantly, the biggest thing you're going to see is how they handle conflict. See, when you out of town with somebody for about 3 to 5 days, what up, real? When you out of town with somebody for about 3 to 5 days, even if it's a small minor infraction, you're going to be able to see how they handle conflict, how they handle resolve in relation to conflict. That's a telltale sign on whether you decide you want to continue that relationship. And it's the exact same way in business. And if someone lacks poor skills in dealing with individuals, it's going to be hard for them to get to that next level. This is why people fail. Number 2, negative attitude. Look, I don't deal with people who always complain, who always is on some pity party, who's always on some why me. Yeah, I've ended friendship over travel. I'm telling you. You want to find out if your friend is your friend, or if you're trying to date somebody, go on a trip with them. It'll tell you Everything you need to know about them. You find out if they, if they know how to wash themselves properly. You find out their hygiene. Do they know how to bathe properly outside of dealing with the conflict? I'm telling y'all. Negative attitude. I don't deal with people who have negative attitudes. I just don't. In business, in personal relationships, or in friendships. See, energy is a flow of current. Damn, Will, say it ain't so. Hey, I'm trying to put y'all up on some game, all right? I'm trying to put y'all up on some game. Negative attitude. Everything that I'm teaching you guys here translates into your personal life if you're not catching this. Negative attitude. Next is a lack of focus. If you lack focus, send me a message, real. If you lack focus, how can you get to that next level? Because there are going to be times when things are not going to go your way. There's been times where nothing has went the way that I planned it out. And you have to be able to continuously doing the right things long enough until it sways back on track. And most people lack the focus to continuously keep going to the gym even though they may be gaining weight. Keep going to the gym even though the scale is not moving. Keep going to the gym even though their body is sore. That's the same thing with your business. Are you posting content long enough for people to be able to find out who you are? Are you continuously reading the books? Are you continuously working on your credit? Did you work on your credit for 1 month and then that $90,000 repossession didn't come off even though you didn't pay for that car note? Because you voluntarily got it repoed, it's still a repossession. Do you have late payments? You didn't make the payment. Are you willing to continuously go through the process? That's why you also lack in getting to that next level. Next, weak commitment. See, believe it or not, when you have someone who is focused around you, it exposes people who lack commitment. Oh yeah, I'm cutting deep tonight. That's why my views keep going down. I'm cool with that. If it's 3 people on here left, by the time I get to number 6, I'm fine. I'll just get through the rest of them real quickly. Bro, what do you think of owning an HVAC business? People need it. Real estate. Is your lack of commitment weak? Is your lack of commitment weak? Why would I want to work with people and we grow, but when one person tells you no, you want to quit? Or because the basketball game is on, you decide you want to watch the game instead of getting this information. You got to go to happy hour, but see, my mentor, John Malott, once told me once, he told me, hey, Will, you told me you're trying to get to the next level, so I need you to be in Illinois this Saturday. This was in 2004. And I said, John, I don't know if I can make it because I have the bowling league coming up and I paid my dues. And he said, Will, I've yet to find a lot of millionaires who have high bowling averages. Is your commitment to your bowling average or is your commitment to your lifelong goal? If you lack commitment, odds are you will not be as successful as you would like. Unwilling to change. You ever met people who just like, oh, well, I'm going to always be me and nobody can make me change who I am. Well, you can stay, you can always stay who you are and be where you are financially then. Yeah, John from Prepaid Legal. That was my very first mentor. Unwilling to change. Next, you have a shortcut mindset. Let me tell y'all something. Most people can't afford to take shortcuts. And I say that because shortcuts are expensive. Let me say that again. Shortcuts are expensive. Both ways. See, you can buy your way to success a lot faster. Let me give you an example. In the music industry, you can continue to keep putting out your music, and eventually it will fall on good ears if the music is good enough. And it may take 5 years. Or you can have somebody who's putting some money behind you, and you can pay for a hit record. On average, it costs about $250,000 to $500,000 to pay for a hit record. Another thing, I'm good friends with Chad Roper, Grammy Award winning music engineer, done music for Usher on Confessions. You name it, Chad has worked with him. Go Google him. Good friend of mine. And his artist, Lakia, who signed to Quality Control Music, said that his artist was on a promo tour when she first got signed, and it cost him about $119,000 for her promo tour. So now, mind you, they could have continuously did the digital and put music out on SoundCloud and social media and this and that and the third and build an audience. Or you can pay for your artist to be on a promo tour to get in front of more people. He paid for a shortcut. Most people can't afford to pay for a shortcut. Or if you try to take a shortcut without paying the price, so when you're always asking for everything for free, you're trying to get a shortcut and it ends up costing you, which means you can't afford that because now you just delayed your success by that much more. Relying solely on talent, or relying on your trappings, relying on your vehicles to promote you, relying on your outfits, relying on your looks, relying on your... That shows to me you lack substance. That shows to me you lack substance. Next, acting on bad information. Look, I could spend 10 days on this one. Most of the information on social media, a lot of it is bad, especially in the credit space. I have people who will argue me in my DMs. Well, they'll try to argue because I don't go back and forth with people. That net 30s help them out. And then I ask them one simple question. Are you talking about cash value credit or non-cash value? And they don't even know what that means. Are you trying to build up a paydex score so you can post it? Or are you really trying to build your business credit profile? Do you even know the difference between a charge card and a credit card? Because a lot of these charge cards, a lot of these credit cards that people are showing people on the internet for their business without using their social security number are charge cards. Are you falling for the factoring loans where you can get up to $300,000, where you can get up to $50,000 without using your social, but they don't tell you these are short-term loans where the term is only 18 months. Let me show you. So y'all don't think I'm capping. This right here says typically $12,000 to $20,000 per month for up to 12 months. Requires daily payments. Read it. Requires daily payments. Requires daily payments. See, they don't tell y'all the stuff that they putting y'all up on to help you get credit without your social. You got to pay it back daily. I just showed you the paperwork. This is one of the places they telling y'all where y'all can go and get a bunch of money without using your social security number. So, but because you're operating at a low frequency, because you're in a place of desperation, and then you want to hurry up and get all of this credit and you don't even know what to do with it. Now, then next thing you know, you're jammed up because you acted off of bad information. And now you done borrowed all of this money. And then they told you to get all of this money and go buy the outfits, go buy the G-Wagon, go buy the trips, come to their conferences, come take the pictures. And then next thing you know, you don't have no money to hire a virtual assistant. You can't pay for your systems. You can't pay to get a real website. You can't pay for your ads because you want to be front row and center and take pictures with the celebrity at their event. Who didn't tell you that an NBA organization helped them get their first amount of wealth? Stop acting off of bad information and stop trying to take shortcuts, because it will cost you. Next, you lack goals. If your goal is just to make a lot of money, you need to retool your goals. Because money is a current. Money is an energy. You can always make money when you have the proper strategies, when you operate within the right concepts. But most people lack the proper concepts, which is why they'll never get to the level they want to get to. And then last one is lack of understanding investing in self. Look, if everything you look at as a cost, I'm going to pray for you. Because you have to be willing to invest in self to get new information. Now, I'm not even telling you to invest in me, but are you investing in the proper things? If you spend more money investing, going to conferences to take pictures, because everybody got a conference outfit. You got to get a new pair of shoes. You got to make sure they glitter so that they can stand out. You got to get a new outfit. Everybody got to have a chain. Everybody got to have a conference outfit. Everybody got a conference outfit. And then it's an outfit that made you no money. You went there, you learned nothing, but you got a bunch of pictures to let people know you were there. Everybody and their mama bring their photographer there with them. You shooting content. And I'm not knocking any of that. But are any of those things income producing activities? Yeah, the conference starter kit. people have that conference starter kit. Roundtree, do you recommend enterprise name for LLC? I tell people, don't overthink your name for your LLC, fam. Don't overthink it. So these are the things that's stopping people from having success, because everything is a spectacle now. Get back to the basic concepts. Yes, I know it's boring. Trust me. But next time you're out and you're trying to buy that conference starter kit outfit, next time you're out and you're deciding if you're going to invest in somebody because they're profitable, as opposed to learning from somebody who's that's popular, versus learning from somebody who's trying to teach you the activity to become profitable. Ask yourself, is it your ego talking, or is it you? Does your ego need another pair of shoes? Does your ego have to take another trip when you know you one check away from asking to put the payment on the back end of the loan? Is that your ego talking, thinking that you got to have the latest and greatest outfit on? Is that your ego talking that you have to be at another concert sitting in the front row when you haven't even invested in yourself to get front and center within self? See, people keep thinking self-care is about the appearance of taking care of self. No, self-care is starting with you healing. And most people haven't healed their financial bad habit because their ego has taken control, making them feel as if they need something to let people know, hey, I'm richer than what I am. And this is what I often say. When I go to the club and I see people trying to play bottle wars and I know they get a paycheck, I know that's their ego talking. And I'm not saying you shouldn't be able to go to the club and have a good time. But what are you turning up for when I know your family's at home struggling? What are you turning up for when you was just in my DMs asking, can you pick my brain for free? What are you out there celebrating for when you talking about you don't have enough money to invest in the one strategy that you said that you need to help change your family life? And then you get mad at people like myself and other people out here who are legitimately in the communities helping people. And then you get mad because they charge a fee. But you ain't in Beyonce's DMs. You're not in Jay-Z DMs. You wasn't in anybody at life at Lovers and Friends DMs talking about, can you get in for free because you've been a supporter of their music since you was in high school. I made a baby off your music. Can I get in for free? We not in Grant Cardone's DMs getting mad what he charged. We not in Roland Frazier's DMs. We not in we're not in Tony Robbins or Gary V DM. Matter of fact, we pay for the highest ticket we can get for their program, and then we post it online and brag to people, and then we go to their conference with our arm around them, calling them Uncle Gary, calling them Uncle Robert Kiyosaki. They don't care about you. They don't even like you. And I'm saying not like you because they don't know who you are. They reluctantly took that picture because it's free marketing for them, hoping that your friends would do the exact same thing. Yeah, they made a baby off Genuine, but they ain't in his DM when he charged what he charged for his tickets. When New Edition was on tour, when nobody complaining how much them front row tickets cost. They just remember they had a crush on Ralph. They reminiscing when they had a crush on Ralph. And so they ain't in his DMs getting mad what they charge for the tickets. Ain't nobody getting mad at Chris Brown when he charged $1,000 for a meet and greet. Not one person. But you'll get mad at somebody who comes online and try to provide you information that you know can change their life. And it blows my mind when people say, oh, I've been following you for X amount of time. You've seen all of the success. You've seen all of the results. You've seen people's lives change. You've seen people have constantly and continuously utilized my blueprint to build themselves up. And then you question and say, why should I do business with you? And that's what I say. This is why I choose not to do business with everybody. Do you step on toes with hard bottoms or loafers? Oh, man. I'm just trying to show people the parallels of why their lives doesn't get to where they wanted to get to because of the financial ruins people put themselves into. And most people reference points of most people's reference points when it comes to finances have bad influences, which is why most people have a bad relationship with money and they lack basic financial economic structure in their life. I would like your team to delete my one account with late payment. Well, reach out to the team, family, and they will book a call with you. They don't care about you. Certainly do not. Nah. Them people y'all paying to go to these concerts and stuff too, they don't care about y'all. I've literally heard people at the top of from the stages say, and all you guys filled up my jet, so keep buying. I would have got up and left. So as I wrap up, because I got to get to the gym, I don't deal with sensitive people. For real. Appreciate your time. Solar369, appreciate you, King. Thank you, man. Beyond, what up, King? So all I'm going to say is like, let's stop leading with our ego. Look, I tell people, I'm not in the business of convincing people to do business with me. Because then that would be my ego talking. Only thing I can do is put out the information, and you decide to do make an educated and informed decision for yourself. And if you so happen to choose to do business with me, like I said, look, I have the social proof. Most of the people out here that you listening to, it's from my blueprint. I put out one of the first books and one of the most successful books in the credit space. I gave y'all the information. I was doing FICO Fridays for free for the past for 2-3 years. Much respect as always. Milwaukee in the house. Absolutely. 414 off of 47th and Hampton. So I'm going to challenge you to put the ego aside. Put the ego aside and learn how to learn by doing the things long enough to become who you need to truly become to have what it is that you told yourself and your family and your friends and you put on social media what you want to have every December 31st of every single year. Stop letting yourself down. Stop letting your inner child down. Because what happened to all of those posters you put on the wall of the stuff you wanted to amass? What happened to that vision board you did 2 years ago? Drop the ego. Trust me, nobody cares. Nobody cares what kind of car you drive. They just pretend they do. Because one of the things that I've learned, and I'll wrap up with this, everybody in your life is secretly in competition with you. And I say that because every time people see somebody else doing something, we always feel we haven't done enough, and now we want to emulate that. But unfortunately, people are trying to compare themselves to a Rick Ross or a 50 Cent or a whoever it is that's on television or whoever it is that sings. Stop trying to compare yourself to people who can't be, do, or have your lifestyle. You walk in your purpose and get the damn ego out of the way. And until you're willing to do that, you're going to continue to be who you are today. You're going to continue to do the things that's gotten you nowhere. And you're going to continue to have what you have and probably even less. Because this recession will tap that ass, for lack of better words, because you aren't understanding the basic structure of economics. And that's what's going to hurt you in this upcoming financial economic crisis. So with that being said, make sure you reach out. DM me the word help if you would like to book a free call with my team. And until then, I'll see y'all at the top or on the other side or at the gym if you want to meet me.